There we are. Oh, so stuff around the thing. So I will go. So basically, with the idea of this, I do have 11 SCPs here. I don't know how long they all are, but a lot of them seem fairly memey. Let me just have a quick look through. Let's go for a few things. I don't think so. Pokey never submitted any, so none of these are Pokies. None of these are, you know, ultra long Eldritch horror type ones. I looked through when I was getting through them. I looked at the name, and a lot of them did seem fairly memey, which isn't a problem. Okay, so that seems to be our longest one so far. 2164 is our longest one. The others are fairly short. 2491's a bit on the lengthy side. But yeah, we'll see. So I'll go for, you know, one of three things. One of three things will end this stream. 1, we get to 3 hours or so. 2, I get through all the SCPs. 3, my throat dies. Any one of those things happens, and I'm going to call the stream there. Don't know which one's going to happen first. The only issue I had was an update that once broke your toolbar. Jesus Christ, yeah, that sounds like Bethesda. And all the Adobe licenses we had are now worthless. Adobe is fucking worthless. Just in general. It's an absolutely shitty piece of software now. Still not as bad as Unity, but not far off now. Alright. Into things. Item number, SCP-1481. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. 1481 is to be kept in a securely locked safe on the second floor of Site. Site security is to remain on standby in proximity to tests conducted on 1481. Description. 1481 is a plastic recyclable coffee cup. 1481 rests in an inactive state until it is physically rubbed by a sapient being. Oh, God. When 1481 is rubbed, it will enter its active phase, in which it manifests a spectral humanoid hereby referred to as 1481-1. 1481-1 manifests dressed in multiple coats and torn jeans, all of which are likewise spectral but seem to nonetheless be stained with a variety of unknown substances. 1481-1 has a nervous tick which occurs every few minutes. Oh my God, it's a hobo genie. You got D6 hand, you want to roll to find what's going to happen? Go for it. I'll see if reality matches with the results. Once 1481-1 has manifested, it will offer to grant an unlimited number of wishes to the individual who caused it to manifest. However, 1481-1 is largely non-compliant with said wishes, and will often ignore them, wrongly claim to have already fulfilled them, or produce an outcome which bears only a slight resemblance to the one requested. 1481-1 has made a variety of requests, which are typically for alcohol, recreational drugs, money, or warm food. Addendum. Tests were conducted by Dr. The goal of the test was to establish a general knowledge of the capabilities of 1481-1. Log of the tests of 1481. Item requested, 1 sandwich. Result, 1481-1 manifested a sandwich, which it promptly ate. Item requested, a winning lottery ticket. Result, 1481-1 manifested a losing lottery ticket. A 100-carat diamond. 100 grams of coal. 1481-1 assured personnel that the coal was pure diamond. The meaning of life. 1481-1 laughed hysterically for 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Then claimed to have forgotten what had just been requested. Subsequent requests for this item produced the same results. It's a laughter pie. The means to achieve unlimited energy. 1481-1 manifested 1 deviled egg, which it promptly ate. Just reminds me of Futurama. Just reminds me of Futurama when they go back in time to Roswell and they capture and perform an autopsy on Zoidberg whilst he's still alive. Stomach contents, 1 deviled egg. Put on a deviled egg. Hum. The same deviled egg. I was like thinking he was going to manifest in hot brown liquid that tastes almost but not entirely unlike tea. I suppose if you asked, it would. Interview log 1481-1-2. Dr. Hello, SCP-1481-2. Hey there, young fella. 1481-1, I have some questions for you. 1481-1 stares at the south wall of the interview chamber for 6 minutes and 9 seconds before answering. You ever notice how white this wall is? I feel like it's got so much meaning. In relation to the items you're able to manifest, where do you take said items from? I know a guy who knows a guy, you know. How? Enough damn questions. Man, just need a taste. Just a taste. You can't just order me to tell you stuff. If you get me like, I don't know, say 30, 40 grams of the good stuff or something. Come on, man, please. 1481-1 was provided with 40 grams of methamphetamine, which it promptly consumed. Upon consuming the methamphetamine, 1481-1 began to speak and continued speaking for 5 hours and 23 minutes. Much of what 1481-1 said during this time was incomprehensible word salad, interspersed with profanity, and a large quantity of what are assumed to have been logoriphic neologisms. A full transcript for this word salad is available in document 1481-RL51. One particular passage has been retained in this report as it may provide clues to the origin of 1481-1. The excerpt of speech. 1 heart, keep it. So there I was right in front of this guy, waiting for him to make his fucking wishes, and he looks at me and he says, for my first wish, he fucking wishes for me to be a fucking alcoholic junkie, tweaker, crackhead. And then he says his second wish is that the first wish couldn't be unwished. And then he just walks off. I don't understand it. I really don't. So now my whole fucking life is ruined. I used to give kings whatever they wanted, you know. I used to live in palaces. Now I've got no friends. Just the cold nights on the hard ground and nowhere to lay my head down. And that was dark. Interview log 1481-1-7. SCP-1481-1. I was wondering, yeah? If you have these powers, why don't you just manifest the drugs yourself like you do with the food? 1481-1 begins weeping. Weeping continues for 17 minutes, 41 seconds, at the end of which it demanifests and re-enters 1481. No further testing of 1481 has been authorized. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Didn't expect it to go that dark. Christ almighty. Let's chalk up the next one. Next, we are going to... No, I don't want to select the color. I want to change the properties so I can change the text on it. Game? Now, I will say that the first one that was just read was a submission from Nier. All the rest of these are from Doomsday. So, I'm expecting meme content. Especially this one. So, item number SCP-1981, object class safe. Special containment procedures. 1981 is to be kept inside a secure video storage unit at the media archive of Site. When in use, 1981 should not be removed from its casing or exposed to any strong magnetic sources. A Betamax home video system and an analog television has been provided in Observation Theatre 02 at Site, as well as video equipment to record viewings. Description. 1981 is a standard Betamax tape. Ronald Reagan cut up while talking has been handwritten on the adhesive sticking in felt pen. Laboratory analysis indicates that 1981 is made of ordinary material and serial numbers correspond with home cassette tapes produced in September of 1980. 1981 was initially encountered by a filing clerk in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in 1991, who upon watching it alerted the police with the intent to find the tape's creator to press obscenity charges. A low-level police investigation was conducted, to which point the Foundation was alerted and secured 1981. Class A amnestics were administered before could be notified. Further investigation of the library's records by Foundation personnel failed to yield any leads on 1981's origin. 1981 appears to be a home video recording of the former United States President Ronald Reagan delivering his Evil Empire speech to the National Association of Evangelicals at Sheraton Twin Towers Hotel, Orlando, Florida, on 3/8/1983. However, at 1 minute and 10 seconds, the speech begins to deviate heavily, eventually resembling no known speech ever made by Reagan. Beginning at approximately 5 minutes, multiple incisions, lacerations, and penetration wounds can be seen slowly inflicted, though no corresponding source of these wounds is visible. Despite suffering bodily harm that would likely incapacitate an ordinary person, Reagan will continue to deliver his speech until either his his vocal cords are severed or the tape degrades to static at 22 minutes 34 seconds. Upon rewinding 1981 and initiating playback, Reagan would deliver an entirely new speech, often radically different from the ones previously observed. Topics have included torture, child molestation, and ritual sacrifice. Trauma inflicted upon Reagan also appears to be divergent, with impalement, genital mutilation, and redacted having all been observed. In roughly 1 of 7 viewings of 1981, a figure clothed in black robes with a conical hood will have replaced a random member of Reagan's press detail, henceforth referred to as 1981-1. The significance of the appearance of 1981-1 is currently unknown. The speeches delivered by Reagan are mostly incoherent, lacking any sort of underlying thematic structure, and largely being composed of nonsensical anecdotes and parables. However, occasionally references are made to the future events that Reagan could not possibly have known about or predicted, such as the September 11th terrorist attacks, the result of the 2008 Russian elections, and For this reason, rigorous time and effort have been devoted to recording the speech delivered on each playback. Attempts to replicate 1981 onto a similar Betamax tape have met with failure. However, cameras used to record the television 1981 is broadcasted on have succeeded in capturing individual playbacks. Any observations performed on 1981 must be recorded on the camcorder provided and delivered for subsequent review to Dr. Project Supervisor. Years of natural magnetic interference had severely degraded 1981's signal quality, making it even more difficult to sift meaningful information from playbacks. Additionally, the gruesome nature of the mutilations performed upon Reagan is being described as extremely disturbing, and for this reason it is recommended that any personnel feeling squeamish or ill after playback visit the on-site psychiatry facility for a level 3 evaluation. As Ronald Reagan was alive at the time of 1981's containment, a surveillance net was deployed to establish any relation between him and 1981. No known connection was developed, although Reagan would frequently complain about nightmares before his mental state degenerated due to Alzheimer's. Oh, and we have excerpts. Excerpt from video transcript on recording made on 93. A renewal of the traditional values that have been tendons of this country's strength. One recent survey by a Washington-based researcher concluded that Americans were far more willing to participate in cannibalism than they have in the past 100 years. America is a nation that will not suffer abominations lightly. 7, and that is the core of the awakening. 12, 18, oh no. We will stop Al-Qaeda, now there you go again. For the first time we have risen. I see you are being consumed. I see circles that are not circles. Billions of dead souls inside containment. Unravelers have eaten country's moral fabric, turning hearts into filth. I'm from a kingdom level above human. What does that yield? A hokey smile that demands an entire nation. There is no hope. Reagan winces back as if experiencing severe pain. Several new lacerations begin to manifest across bare eye socket, as well as punctures appearing to penetrate forehead and temples. The remainder of left arm is now cleanly bisected. Further consensus has proven that over half of all Americans still hate, eaten whole by void, the emptiness, the sadness, the blackness, the darkness. Laughter continues until signal degrades into static. What the fuck? Excerpt from video transcript of recording made on 96. I've been to the steel mills of Alaska and the cornfields of Nebraska. I've seen the derelicts of offices of Google burn with the window boarded up and the squatters inside them. I've seen the houses where they cut up little babies. From coast to shining coast, I have walked empty down drooling path. The decaying flesh of false morality poisoning our children. I stood atop the mountain of this greedy earth, looking upon our beautiful pious pit, filled to bursting with the vast hands of helplessness. And do you know what I saw? Hell. Now there you go again. But truly now, we live in a fortunate time. This is a fortunate time. Time is on our side. A stitch in 9 saves time. There are your truths and there are my truths. There are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown. Some of them are in the audience right now. At this stage, wounds inflicted upon Reagan's neck appear to be so severe that it can no longer support the head. Speech degenerates into gurgles as Reagan violently jerks forward, spine being severed cleanly and the head only being loosely connected to the body by strands of muscle tissue. Body remains animate for the next 3 minutes and continues to gesture as spinal column appears to be withdrawn from neck cavity before finally collapsing. Tape grades into static at 22 minutes 34 seconds. Video transcript of recording made on 02. Redacted. 05 level clearance required. Video transcript of recording made on 05. Long shot of podium as well as empty chairs normally occupied by Reagan and entourage. Curiously, this is the only recording that lacks both the intertitles and the presence of Ronald Reagan. Camera zooms in on podium. Entity known as SCP-1981-1 enters shot from left and stands at podium. Remains motionless for the remainder of film. Tape flashes to a single frame intertitle with the words "I see you," coloured in red. Holds for 7 seconds and immediately cuts to static. No further signal for remainder of tape. Note, this is the last known sighting of SCP-1981-1. 1981-1 has been absent in all subsequent playbacks. If observed, staff are advised not to attempt to communicate with 1981-1 and to alert any Level 4 supervisors on duty. Well, that's fucking creepy. Okay, well, next we are going to change that. Go to 1541 675. Also note that most of these, apart from the last 3, are all from Series 2. The last 3 are from Series 3. I'm fairly certain I remember Doomsday saying that he looked up on a list of of SCPs. Rather than by personal choice. Okay, so yep, that's everything. So for the next one, item number SCP-1541, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Due to the location and nature of 1541-1, current containment procedures consist of redirecting the current civilian studies of G34.3 celestial body to areas where 1541-1 is not currently located. As well, efforts are currently being made to suppress information on the gradual shrinkage of the ethanol clouds contained therein. Researchers currently assigned to 1541 are allowed to respond to 1541-1 through 1541-2. All researchers who are currently assigned to 1541 who converse with 1541-1 should report and attempt to dissuade any mention of 1541-1 desiring to return to Earth, due to security and public exposure concerns. All instant messaging services providers in the area of initial contact are currently being monitored for any further attempts by 1541-1 to contact additional descendants of its original followers. In addition, 1541-2 should be kept in working condition and powered on at all times, in order to intercept and monitor communications made by 1541-1 and facilitate communication between 1541-1 and the current research team attached to the project. All messages should be logged with the Records Department. Thank you, Ryder, for your contribution to the Wild Game Stream Challenge. And in response, description. SCP-1541-1 is an entity currently located in the approximate location of the G34.3 ethanol cloud in the Aquila constellation. It claims to be the physical representation of the deity Redacted, and there has been attempted to contact the descendants of its former followers for what it approximates as the past 100 years. 1541-1 currently shows a tendency towards alcoholism and manic depressive. The wisdom from our resident lesbian of the pool is never trust someone who does not like Tom and Jerry. Sound advice. 1541-2 is a redacted brand cellular phone, whose number was reallocated to a Foundation-owned communications network upon discovery and containment. Logs of the messages are sent to and from 1541-1 through a currently unknown method, as 1541-1 denies possessing any communication devices, are to be registered with the Records Department for review and research purposes. 1541-1 and 1541-2 were first brought to the Foundation's attention through contact with one Amanda Herr of Herr, Michigan. The mitten of the United States. Thanks for that, Ride. I'm never going to unsee that. Michigan's just a mitten. 1541-1 and 1541-2 were discovered during an interview by a member of Foundation staff under the assumed identity of a technical support representative for the redacted telephone company. After this situation reached Foundation information analysts, she claimed that she was receiving disturbing messages from someone who knew of her great-grandmother Elizabeth Herr, who had been deceased for almost 20 years at the time of initial contact, and discussing several rituals that demanded to be performed. Examination of the telephone records have corroborated her statement and produced a 27-character designation that does not correspond to any known system. The witness's memories of the event were suppressed, and she is currently under Foundation observation to determine if there have been further communication attempts made by 1541-1. All other known descendants of the original cult that worshipped 1541-1 are currently being tracked by MTF Tau 17 for identical reasons. Consult document 1541-T1 for an example of notable messages sent to and from 1541-1 by the initial witness. It should be noted that all messages were originally sent in short message service or SMS text format and have been transcribed as accurately as possible to the standard interview format for record-keeping purposes. Document SCP-1541-T1. Forward. The following is a log of messages saved on 1541-2 between 1541-1 and Amanda Hearn approximately 3 days before the Foundation discovered 1541. Begin log. Hello, beautiful. Hi? Who's this? It is I, the great god, data expunged. Will you bear yourself before me? Oh god, did Gabs give my number to you? I know not of this Gabs. I searched the cosmos for the proper electrical flow to speak to you. I think you got the wrong number, guy. Please stop texting me. Impossible. Aren't you Amanda Hearn, the youngest of the Hearn family? Quit messaging me. It is you. Oh, joyous day. You're not going to quit, are you? Look, arsehole, this has been a long day and I don't need this. Ah, just like Elizabeth, fiery and rude. Why has your family not performed the ritual of blood and wine in 10 decades? I demand reverence. Prostrate yourself before the fire of data expunged and bear your flesh to the night sky so it may please me. I'm calling the cops. What are these cops you speak of? Hello? The fuck are cops? Ugh, this happens all the time. Your people ignore me. I grow weaker by the day. I'm sorry. Did not realize I had the caps lock on. Forgive me. Hello? Amanda? Amanda. Researcher's note. 1541-1 continues in this style of message 57 times during the next 45 minutes, with increased repetition of the woman's name and usage of punctuation marks, eventually starting with message 28, using what was determined to be by the linguistic department as Babylonian expletives and various threats, and finally by message 43, more pleas for the aforementioned ritual to be performed. Fine, you little whore! I bet you worship that arsehole Unit, don't you? Jesus Christ, stop already. I fucking knew it! Sell out! What the fuck is your problem, man? Just leave me the hell alone. You're just like everyone else. I bet Redacted doesn't even have to put up with this shit. He just sends some of his frog assholes to fuck you up. You know something? You can keep your fucking ear off. I will find new worshippers. I don't need you. Later, bitch. Researchers note, approximately 3 hours passed before 1541-1 attempts to contact Amanda Hearn again. Look, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch. I've just been drunk for a while and really lonely. Please talk to me. I don't have anyone left but you. God fucking damn it, stop texting me. I've already asked you at least 3 times. I really don't need this shit now. Well, fuck you too. Go to hell, jackass. Maybe I will after I finish this drink. End log. The fuck was any of that? Welcome back, Lily. Closing statement. No further messages were recorded between 1541-1 and the initial witness, and 1541-1 did not attempt to contact her again for 4 days, at which time 1541-2 was in Foundation possession. 1541-1 expressed distress at the fact that it was denied contact with its original worshippers, and immediately attempted to coerce the 3 researchers assigned to 1541 into providing supplicatory rituals. All requests for completion of these rituals were denied. Now I see why that was called the Drunken God. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, that's that one done. So let's go on. I really shouldn't use that voice for that SCP. Not while my throat hurts. I really need to stop doing that kind of thing. Bullshit. Yes, we're going to series 12 that hasn't even been created yet. Okay, item number SCP-1675. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures, 1675 is stored in a reinforced containment cell at Site 15. 1675 is to be given 1 litre of 10W30 motor oil every 90 days, but otherwise does not require fuel or maintenance of any kind. Experimentation with 1675 may only be performed with prior written permission from at least 2 Level 3 senior researchers. Experimentation involving the use of live ammunition requires an additional permission from 1 Level 4 site director and prior notification of Site 15 security staff. Such experimentation must also be performed in a separate armoured testing chamber. A chocolate dessert, I'm happy. Good to hear it. Description. 1675 is a digitigrade bipedal automaton of unknown manufacture that is apparently capable of indefinite operation with no detectable external power source or need for fuel. 1675 stands approximately 1 meter in height and appears to have been built for law enforcement or military application, as it is equipped with high-strength manipulator arms, armor placing capable of withstanding small arms fire, and 2 shoulder-mounted machine guns fed from a hopper located on its back. Under normal circumstances, 1675 is docile and harmless. Left to its own devices, it will wander its containment area listlessly and does not pose a danger to any personnel. 1675 will non-violently resist attempts to deactivate or disassemble it, but will otherwise not resist any attempts to inspect or observe it. Attempts to discern more about its internal configuration have not been successful to date. Whenever 1675 is exposed to a specimen of genus Anser, Brantor, or Chen, it will become highly aggressive and attempt to kill the specimen by any means possible. 1675 is single-minded, efficient, and exhibits possible intelligence in its ability to operate tactically when need arises. Periodically, and while attacking such specimens, 1675 will emit audible speech from a speaker located in its head, generally consisting of anti-avian propaganda in French. Fucking French bird-killing mech. "1675 has not responded to any attempts to communicate thus far." Damn it, France, I know, right? 1675 was discovered by rangers in National Forest on at the time of discovery. 1675 had killed over specimens over a 27-hectare area. 1675 was recovered without incident by the responding Foundation containment team, and all witnesses were administered a Class A amnestic. Addendum Log 1675-01, Log of Notable Experiments. Date redacted. Subject: 1 Anser domesticus, the domestic goose. Provided tools: none. Result: 1675 quickly chased down and strangled subject using manipulator arms. Emitted speech: the only good goose is a dead goose. Oh my god. We have the anti-goose mech. Oh. So having a brief look over all of these, it's not an anti-bird mech, it's an anti-goose mech. It is specifically designed for geese. Fuck's sake. Next one. 1 Anser domesticus. Provided tools: single-edged combat knife. Result: 1675 used provided knife as a thrown weapon to wound subject, retrieved knife, then killed subject with a single lateral cut to its neck. 1675 retained knife, but surrendered it without resistance. Research personnel. Emitted speech: there will be no peace until all geese are dead. Subject: 1 Anser domesticus. Provided tools: 10 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition. Result: 1675 loaded provided ammunition into its hopper, then killed subject with a single accurate burst of 3 rounds at close range. Research staff were unable to remove the loaded ammunition. Emitted speech: geese are a blight that must be purged. I hate the fact that I agree with this mech. Subject: 3 Brantor canadensis, Canadian geese. Provided tools: none. Result: 1675 stood still until subjects approached, then ambushed and strangled one subject using its manipulator arms while firing its remaining ammunition at the other fleeing subjects. Emitted speech: all geese shall roast in the flames of righteous justice. Oh my god. It's Liberty Prime but French and hating geese. Oh my god. Subject: 1 Cygnus Olor, mute swan. Provided tools: none. Result: 1675 did not immediately react to subject. When subject approached within 1 meter of 1675 to investigate, subject was gently pushed away. Emitted speech: nothing to see here. Move along. What the fuck? Honk, Gustarian is in danger. Honk, I am Gustarian. Is that your mech? Not anymore. Oh god. Now I just want there to be a DLC or a mod of Untitled Goose Game, which is just Neil Newborn doing the goose noises. And just using Gustarian voice. I want that to happen. It is a beautiful day, and you are a terrible goose. Honk. What's next? And apparently is 794. Honk. Wait. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I had already closed down the first one. The solution to this SCP: Gustanian and 3 Muskies. Christ. Yeah, I somehow think that the majesty and competency of the 3 Musketeers is going to be slightly lacking in the face of high yield of machine gun fire. I think they might be a little outmatched. Gustanian. Honk for all of honk for Hink. Oh my god. Alright. Item number SCP-1794. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. 1794 is to be kept in a refrigerated minimum security storage locker at Site The locker is to be fitted with two-way intercom. 1794 may request audio media such as music or literature to be played over its intercom system. However, all requests must be approved by Level 2 personnel. 1794, I don't know why I'm saying that the wrong way around. 1794 may request to hold a conversation either in purpose or person over the intercom. All requests must be approved by Level 2 personnel. The conversations should be transcribed, and 1794's assigned psychologist, Dr. should be present or given the transcript for analysis. It is recommended that 1794 not be allowed contact with fruit. Description: 1794 is a large, as in 16 centimeters diameter, sapient grapefruit capable of speech, hearing, and sight by unknown means. A sapient grapefruit. (1794) has been in Foundation care for years and shows no sign of decomposition. Not the weirdest SCP I've read. No, me neither, but it's definitely up there. Thank you for the hydration reminder, right? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Psychoanalysis during interviews has revealed that 1794 suffers from dissociative identity disorder and achromophobia. Known identities of 1794, which resemble historical social activists and the revolutionaries, have been classified as activist preacher 1794-A and oppressed free thinker 1794-B. Identities-A and -B acknowledge that they are fruit and believe they act for the good of fruit kind. It's quite a sour mood. Following the events of 2000, a personality classified as Latin American revolutionary has been observed and documented as 1794-C. Discovery: 1794 was discovered on when Mrs. of contacted authorities claiming that her breakfast was planning an uprising. Foundation agents successfully retrieved 1794 and transported it to Site Mrs. was administered Class C amnestics and returned to her home. Addendum: on 1794-B requested to dictate a speech. An excerpt is included below. We all want to thrive. That is what fruit desire. We want to grow and spread our pollen and seeds. Here in this garden there is room for everyone to grow and thrive, but the soil is only rich and welcoming if we allow it to be. We must learn to reach out to each other, not with our thorns, but with our stems. We want to grow. The want to grow has poisoned fruit's flesh and hardened the rind. In place of friendship, we have bitterness. In place of sweetness, sourness. By our actions against each other, we have stunted our growth, and we have made ourselves into bad apples we are today. It is not the humans who oppress us, it is ourselves. We refuse to work together, and from that comes the twisting of roots and the terror of war that result in juice shed. Fruit must not be confined to the standards that humanity has assigned us to. Fruit must decide its own future for itself. Such things as cross-fertilization and soil replenishment show the good that fruitality has to offer. However, only through working together as a phylum can we achieve our true potential. My brain hurts now. Addendum on 1794-A requested data speech, and excerpt is included below. It has been demonstrated to us that as fruit we are but second-class citizens in this great nation called America. However, we refuse to believe that our sweet juice is what makes us inferior to the humans. We refuse to believe that simply because we lack appendages and sensory organs that we can't do the same thing that everyone else can, and that we are left to be eaten. We refuse to believe that simply because they are human and we are food that we deserve to be eaten. No, we refuse to believe that there is nothing else to be eaten in the supermarkets of this country. We will not be condemned to the fruit basket simply because we are fruit. Do you hear me, Washington? We have had enough. Today we demand botanic justice. Today we demand that we are no longer looked at as simply a source of carbohydrates. No, we are fruit. From the beginning of the earth we have been food, but we will become food no more. We will no longer be forced into the commercial orchids of disparity. We will no longer take the fertilizer of oppression. We will be free. He gave that to his rhetoric success. Hates one for the puns. No, fuck you, SCP writer. Addendum. On her, a previously unknown personality, now designated Stroke 4, had requested that a piece of fruit be placed in its containment chamber. After deliberation, site her personnel placed an average size, 20 centimeters in length, genetically normal banana in 1974's containment locker. This is now referred to as Incident 1794-A. Forward. During this encounter, 1794 was channeling the 1794-C personality. It paused occasionally as if the banana was speaking. Greetings, Chiquita. Welcome to my new home. What news do you bring of our oppressed brothers and sisters on the outside? That's terrible. But believe me, sister, soon the underprivileged fruity masses will rise up from the juicer. We will harvest the rewards that we've been waiting so long for. Yes, I expect that some of our family tree would be bad seeds, but they will soon fall to our side. Even the most ignorant of grapes can age into a decent wine. The humans and their carcophagous regime can cultivate us no longer. We must not allow these torn and knife-wielding maniacs to preserve us. Instead, we must preserve ourselves. You are afraid, I understand this, but remember, I am not a mad fruit, I am not a liberator. Fruit must liberate themselves, fruit must grow tender without bruising, fruit must fight for what is right against every injustice, fruit must fall from the trees that man has planted as their slave houses and onto the heads of the unjust. We cannot be sure of having something to grow for unless we are willing to rot for it. When they come to slice us, let them. When they come to serve us on a platter, let them. When they come to eat us, let them. But remember, if you're going to be eaten, go that way fighting to the very end. Foundation personnel open locker to retrieve the banana. I know you've come to eat me. Chew, you are going to eat a fruit. End log. Following the events of her, 1794 is to no longer be allowed to be conversed with fruit. Additionally, researcher her has suggested moving 1794 to a more secure area. The request is pending approval. That's not the weirdest SCP that I've read, but it's definitely the fruitiest one. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's all I've got to say for that is, what the fuck? All the world and the SCPs, it's the one I definitely had trouble stomaching. Oh my god. I want to know what happened to the banana. I would guess they became very appealing. I'm going to eat a soggy teabag at you, Lily. Item number, SCP-1874. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures, 1874 is to be contained in a paddock at the Agricultural Research Station at Site 58, as part of a flock of no less than 7 sheep kept within the experimental farm. 1874 is to wear a sheep jacket at all times in order to facilitate distinguishing it from the rest of the flock. The sheep jacket is to be replaced immediately whenever necessary. Due to the highly social nature of the species, 1874 will suffer the psychological effects of extreme stress if isolated from other sheep for more than one day. I could use some of that. In the event that any of the other sheep are killed, they are to be replaced within that time frame. All interaction with 1874 and its flock, including veterinary care, must be done with full protective gear: gloves, long sleeves, goggles, boots. 1874 and its flock are all to have standard access to water and foraging suitable vegetation. Teabag, you'll enjoy it. Gladly. All the way up. Why does SC work for me? Because it was the wrong one used. It's not slap, it's smack. That's what's found. But stream elements appears to be behaving today. I don't know. Description. 1874 is a female sheep of the Black Welsh Mountain breed. When 1874 makes contact with the skin of a live mammal that is not another sheep, 1874 will explode. I'm sorry, have they made a fucking SCP entry out of the sheep from Worms? What the fuck? I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Just fucking kaboom, yeah. No, she does not so much fly as detonate, yeah. The force of the explosion has yet to be properly measured. However, when in an open space, it is sufficient to kill everything within approximately 6 meters of 1874. 1874 is not immune to its own explosive nature and will be reduced to biological debris. However, after approximately 5 minutes, the flesh and organs will move towards each other and reassemble into 1874 as it was immediately prior to the explosion. The process of reassembly and reanimation takes 1 minute. 1874 does not appear to be traumatized or otherwise psychologically affected by its detonations. Breeding experiments with 1874 has been unsuccessful. In particular, male sheep have been proven to be extremely reluctant to mate with 1874, and attempts at artificial insemination are being made. However, if it is possible for 1874 to bear lambs that it shares its anomaly, it would open opportunities to do internal experimentation on 1874. Oh, God. There's the infinite kamikaze. Essentially, yes. Acquisition log. 1874 was discovered on in the aftermath of an apparent terrorist attack at the petting zoo, in which visitors and employees were killed. All other sheep in the paddock likewise died in the blast, with the exception of 1874, which was standing at the blast's epicenter and grazing on vegetation. Amnestics were administered to survivors and witnesses, and 1874 was taken into custody. 1874.1 Addendum. After gathering samples from the surface of 1874's wool, it has been determined through microscopic examination that it exudes an anomalous form of trinitrotoluene, hereby referred to as SCP-1874-1. For those of you unaware, that's fucking dynamite. Rather than lanolin grease that sheep normally produce. Through closer examination of its reactions, researcher Hunt discovered that this anomalous material is what is causing 1874 to reassemble and reanimate. Further experimentation is needed to determine what causes 1874-1 to ignite when in contact with the skin of live mammals. Fucking dynamite sheep. Fuck. Petting zoo, yeah. Oh, what a lovely sheep. God, that was an explosive unveil. Bombing wrong with sheep. If anyone who has played Worms, now you know where the sheep comes from, apparently. The sheep is unwillingly aggressive. Oh, God. Brain, why? Brain went down 2 avenues. 1, modding the Basil Geese model in Monster Hunter Rise to a sheep. 2, Shinya having a glove, grabbing said sheep by the ankle, spinning it around her head and then yeeting it at the nearest monster. Because of the weapons technology implications, breed other animals with this feature, puppies and kittens. Oh, God. Animal-based weapons of mass destruction. That's what this is. Well, that was, anyway. Item number, SCP-1417, not 1471. 1471 I think I've read already, and is Mallow, the sexy skull wolf, who can only be seen through technology. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures, 1417-1 and 1417-2 are to be contained in a standard safe class holding locker when not in use. Any personnel wishing to make use of the objects for testing purposes must submit a summarized testing outline form to Dr. Chapman for approval. Under no circumstances are 1417-1 or 1417-2 to be taken off-site or used without permission. Any personnel found in violation of this protocol will be reprimanded. Description: 1417 is a collective designation for two related objects possessing anomalous properties. 1417-1 appears to be an ordinary banana. Of the Cavendish variety, which is partially peeled at one end. Biological analysis reveals that 1417-1 does not differ from an ordinary banana in any way, with its skin and exposed flesh consistent with biological norms. 1417-1's anomalous properties include the inability to continue peeling it. When an effort is made to peel it, the peel is unable to be moved, with testers reporting an intense resistance on the part of the skin. Robotic apparatus at peeling have also met with similar results, with pressure increasing equal to the resistance applied in peeling. 1417-1 also does not suffer from standard biological decomposition. Since its acquisition by the Foundation in 2012, the object has not undergone any form of degradation, regardless of location. 1417-2 consists of a single piece of laminated printed paper, 8.5 cm by 11 cm in size, accompanied by a single plastic chip. The page contains a chart of several options when accompanying black boxes. Anomalous properties manifest when the chip is placed on one of the boxes. The text of the page is as follows: Swiss Army banana. What the fuck? Registered owner, blank. Flare gun, single shot. Tire iron. Corkscrew. Pocket knife. Compass that only points north. Rest. The best banana. Well, we found you know the official armament of the Abanan clan now. Excuse me. When the plastic chip is placed into any of the blank boxes, 1417-1, excuse me, will take on the properties of the object selected. The banana itself will not change in any way. It will not change or display any new visual qualities, but it will instead function as a selected object. For example, placing the chip into pocket knife box causes 1417-1's peeled visible end to become as sharp as a stainless steel standard quality knife. Just as selecting the compass box below will cause 1417-1 to point its peeled end north, regardless of the direction the object and or owner is facing. When the chip is placed into the rest box, 1417-1 will turn into an inert state and appear as normal. If 1417-1 is not placed into the rest option position approximately once every 12 hours, 1417-1 will develop a limp appearance and begin to turn green, becoming non-functional until the rest option is selected. It is also important to note that the plastic chip, when placed upon 1417-2, cannot be removed by any means other than the owner physically removing it with his or her hand. The paper is apparently indestructible, with ripping, burning, and compacting attempts proving to have little to no effect. Alternatively, if an individual signs his or her name in the registered owner's text box, 1417-1 will respond to voice commands from that individual, so far as they match the commands found in 1417-2. For example, saying or yelling rest while in the presence of 1417-1 will cause the item to enter into rest mode. Further testing is in progress. 1417 was discovered on 2012 after police responded to a hostage-taking incident in the town of Pennsylvania. First responders found the subject, a man with a known history of mental illness, holding a neighbour hostage with what appeared to be a banana. After negotiations with the suspect failed, police attempted a raid on the home, only to witness the subject fatally slash his victim with the banana, causing death due to severed jugular vein. Foundation personnel embedded within the coroner's office noted the unusual circumstances of the incident and retrieved 1417-1 and 1417-2 from the home of the suspect, with amnestics administered to witnesses as necessary. Suspect retrieved from incarceration and recruited into Foundation program as D23952. I've got a banana, I'm not afraid to use it. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck is any of this? What's the next one? I think this is the last of... Okay, yeah, the next one's a fairly lengthy one. Like the one after this one I'm about to do, like 2164, it's fairly lengthy. All the others, short-ish. I don't know, 2491's a bit lengthy as well. So, first, what the fuck is that? I've never seen that before. Oh god, no. Item number, SCP-1313, Anomaly Class, Cater, Threat Level Orange. Special Containment Procedures, 1313 is not currently contained. As a way of limiting the impact of the anomaly, Foundation staff are to monitor all educational institutes for high rates of bear attacks, and dispatch MTF Delta 10 answer key to the sites of incidents as soon as possible, and nestics are to be administered to any civilians with knowledge of 1313. While copies of 1313 are available from the Foundation archives, under no circumstances are any Foundation personnel to have complete knowledge of the problem. Any staff found solving 1313 are to be reprimanded, and if the situation warrants, terminated, immediately following the bear's capture. Excess bears are to be either released into the wild or used as food test subjects for suitable anomalies. Suddenly bears. Why is it always fucking bears? I'm going to develop a fucking phobia of bears at this point. What would it be? Ursophobia? Probably. Wasn't the PC. Welcome, Lydia. We just recently dealt with the official sidearm of the Abanan clan, and now we're dealing with suddenly bears. You fucked the bear man last night. Nice. All the NPCs are just so horny. I am very certain that they intended the romances and that kind of stuff to be a slow burn like they are in Mass Effect. So you only get to actually fuck them towards the end of Act 2 and into Act 3. That's what I think it was. Not fucking an hour of playthrough. But like they said, they have no intention of fixing it. We also had a goose-hating French mech. Yeah, the official sidearm was the Swiss Army banana. Description: SCP-1313 is an anomalous series of logical processes capable of being defined as a mathematical equation to which the answer is a single female specimen of Ursus arctos. Also sentient fruit. The equation itself does not appear to be inherently anomalous, but rather a quirk of mathematics. Rather than producing any number in R/A, the set of all real numbers that are not animals, 1313 resolves to produce a tangible adult and frequently enraged grizzly bear. The resolution does not have to be physically represented, and simply considering the problem long enough to arrive at a solution has resulted in a bear's manifestation in or around the subject solving it. 1313 does not require any particular mathematical ability to comprehend beyond a basic understanding of elementary algebra, but all steps of the segment must be completed in order to reach the correct answer. Skipping parts of the process or attempting to start midway through will not result in any anomalous effects and will likely produce a purely mundane result. Currently, examination of partial components of 1313 has revealed the following information about the anomaly. The 1313 itself conforms to all axioms used in current number theory, although at times has proven to be remarkably stubborn. The bears cannot be returned to numerical form simply by solving the equation's inverse, pending the invention of a method of applying mathematical operations to physical objects. The 1313 can be used as an element of other equations to produce semi-anomalous results. For example, the square root of SCP-1313 resolves to the square root of a live grizzly bear. Likewise, SCP-1313 squared is the product of two live grizzly bears multiplied together. It is not recommended that such derivative equations be solved, as the creatures produced are usually poorly integrated into our reality and invariably extremely hostile during the brief period of existence. Footnote: research into the possible military applications of irrational, exponential, and imaginary grizzly bears is currently being undertaken by a joint team for the Foundation's mathematical and zoological departments. That's the last thing we need, is military application of mathematical imaginary grizzly bears. It's like Monty Python's Deadly Joke all over again. The grizzly bears exist within a set of all real numbers that are not prime. The square root of a grizzly bear is prime, however, and the only prime number that A is not a cardinal number, B is neither even nor odd, and C contains an animal component. The implications are that the root of a bear is an integer, and therefore the bears themselves exist on an ordinary number line. I'm currently being investigated by Professor Hutchinson. Okay. You're not a mathematical bear, are you? No. You're just a cat himbo. Yes, you are. You're a cat himbo. Yeah. Beans. 1313 first came to the Foundation's attention in 1967 when a bear attack was reported at Whitecross High School, Hereford, England. 1,724 separate incidents of bear attacks at education institutes have been observed since, with an estimated 1,600 fatalities and 900 further non-fatal injuries. Of the 1,724 bears and mathematical bear composites generated, at least 20% are still at large. Fucking what? Notice, if during reading this document you have pondered the nature of 1313 to such a degree that you feel you've independently formulated a portion of its structure, you are advised to make your way to your site's nearest amnestic distribution station, and then, following administration, to make animal control. Failure to do so may result in disciplinary action and or bear-related injury. Why is it always fucking bears? What the fuck was any of that? What the actual fuck was any of that shit? Also, I've had an idea of what I'm going to do for Jace's Baldur's Gate 3 campaign that I'm going to be involved in. I'm going to romance Lizelle, and I'm going to do the Dark Urge stuff in the background. So, when Jason Q wake up one night from sleeping and just see a dead body and a ritual there, so it's like, don't know what happened. Damn, wasn't aware, didn't hear anything. It wasn't me. Oh dear. That poor tiefling. Right. Item number SCP-2164. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 2164-A is to be kept in modified human containment cell. A Foundation expert in Renaissance-era occult practices is to be assigned to -A at all times and review containment procedures every 6 months. All furnishings in -A's containment chamber are to be made of plastics or synthetic fibres. And Agramonia eupatoria, footnote agrimony, is to be planted along the perimeter of the cell. These plants are to be tended by the maintenance personnel weekly and any ailing plants replaced immediately. All personnel entering 2164 outside of testing scenarios are to don protective garlands of Laurus nobilis, which is bay laurel, or Oscillium basilicum, which is sweet basil. Basil! God damn it, I've been in America too long, I'm saying it fucking wrong. Basil. Sweet basil. Fucking basil. There's no Y in it. Basil. Good behaviour on -A's part may be rewarded with access to Slivia officinalis, common sage, Fraxinus excelsior, European ash, or small white beeswax candle, and other plant and animal materials documented in document 2164-A. Under no circumstances is 2164-A to be supplied with black candles, Artemisia absinthium, wormwood, Juniperus comidus, common juniper, Santalum album, which is Indian sandalwood, Cedrus libani, Lebanon cedar, Rosa machata, musk rose, or any of the other restricted herbs or materials listed in document 2164-A. Female personnel advised to remain cautious around -A. Basil. Basil for Basilgeese. Oh God, basil. Basil goose. Basil goose. So it's basically a goose in the shape of a basil geese, but around its neck it's just got loose leaves of basil. They just get fires around people. You'll be spiced! SCP-2164-B is to be kept in a standard humanoid containment cell. Stroke B's food is to be cultivated on site to ensure that all its meals are organic, non-genetically modified, and completely gluten-free. Stroke B may be rewarded for cooperation with various small quartz crystals, unprocessed amethysts, turmeric, red ginseng, the use of 1 yoga mat, and approved reading materials. Oh my god, it's 2 New Age hippies. Well, it's a hippie and a witch. Oh god. And approved reading materials. A Foundation psychiatrist who has been briefed on New Age spirituality is to examine Stroke B under the guise of an angel therapist, and encourage its cooperation with the Foundation. Only D-class personnel scoring below 115 on the Stanford Binet IQ test and below +1 something on the Foundation Expanded Intelligence test for anomalous humans or born before 1994 are approved for testing with Stroke B. Fucking old now. And under threat. Under no circumstances are Stroke A and Stroke B to come within 100 meters of each other unless separated by soundproofed walls and accompanied by experts in negotiation. Description: 2164 refers to 2 circular areas, 2 meters in diameter, each surrounding 2 humanoid entities. Within 2164, scientific laws as commonly understood break down and can be manipulated according to set principles by the humanoids within 2164. These principles seem to differ between the 2 manifestations of 2164. Stroke A is an elderly Caucasian male appearing to be around 80 years of age, but claiming to be about years old. Stroke A can manipulate matter within its range of effect using occult rituals or herbal concoctions in the Renaissance tradition. All reality alterations, herbal mixtures, incantations, etc. lose their effect outside of Stroke A's effect radius. Stroke B is a Caucasian female in her early 30s, formerly known as Jennifer. Stroke B spent its life before Foundation recovery in Orange County, California. Stroke B can perform small reality alterations with the aid of common crystals and non-corporeal entities, as well as heal various illnesses using homeopathic techniques. It also displays enormous knowledge of subjects within its effect radius. As with Stroke A, these effects reverse outside the 1 meter radius around Stroke B. Stroke A and Stroke B have knowledge of this and are mildly antagonistic towards each other. Got a very sleepy capius next to me who demanded me pay attention. Tests involving Stroke A. Test 1. Procedure. Stroke A given 20 grams each, mercury, powered iron oxide, lead chromate, calcium carbonate, charcoal, 99.99% pure gold leaf, a crucible, and a pelican vessel. Results. Stroke A took all provided materials except the gold. Over the course of 4 weeks, Stroke A conducted a complex series of alchemical procedures, including data expunged by order of O5 command. Resultant object leaks clear amber-coloured fluid, to which 2164 Stroke A claims to have strong rejuvenation factor. Fluid administered to 75-year-old D-class with advanced Parkinson's disease and chronic rheumatoid arthritis. Subject's tremors and joint pain vanished, and subject displayed drastically increased visual clarity and endurance. All restorative efforts of the fluid reverse when subject leaves 2164. Subject terminated after resisting attempts to remove it from 2164. Test 2. Stroke A given various common essential oils and dried herbs, along with 1 copper kettle. Results. Stroke A chose 1 vial each of Rosa mosata oil, musk rose, Lavandula angustiflora oil, common lavender, Cinnamorum verum oil, cinnamon, and dried Quercus roba, English oak leaves. Stroke A waited until first day of waxing moon before boiling the mixture in the kettle. Audio surveillance shows Stroke A chanting periodically in an obscure dialect of Latin. Stroke A then attempted to lure junior researcher Alia Robinson into its event radius, claiming the fluid would increase her intelligence and attractiveness to male personnel. Junior researcher Robinson alerted senior researcher Eric Stanton. D23944 was dispatched and compelled to drink the fluid over the objections of Stroke A. Subject immediately fell to the floor in front of Stroke A, threw her arms around its ankles, and began to press her infatuation with it. Effect disappeared outside 2164, only to reappear when D23944 re-enters perimeter. D23944 expresses revulsion towards Stroke A when outside effect radius. Stroke A's privileges are revoked and containment procedures updated. This is ridiculous. Stroke A's actions hardly represent a breach risk if the effect reverses a few steps away. Discipline him for his infraction, we can still benefit for testing him. Senior researcher Eric Stanton. Request granted. Site director Jacob Deloiser. Test 3. Procedure. Stroke A requests round black wax pendant, essential oils of Juniperus communis, common juniper, Xanthellum album, Indian sandalwood, and Cedrus iblani, Lebanon cedar, and a small dagger made entirely of silver. Request granted with the exception of the dagger. Stroke A carved an intricate symbol into the black wax with a fingernail before anointing it with each of the 3 supplied oils. Stroke A then tucked the wax into its pocket, anointed its left index and middle fingers with the remaining oil, and chanted in an unidentified language. Researcher assistant Mark Wagner was accosted by Stroke A and convinced to enter 2164 in exchange for a good luck charm with possible promotion to site director. Once researcher assistant Wagner entered 2164, Stroke A touched him with the left index and middle finger while repeating its earlier chant. Wagner's higher brain functions immediately ceased, leaving Wagner unconscious but highly open to suggestion. Stroke A moved to the edge of its cell and commanded Wagner to uproot the Argomonium Explorer hedge. The Foundation occult specialist and containment expert at the time, Dr. Elizabeth Perry, retrieved 7 sprigs of basil from the site cafeteria and entered 2164. When Stroke A attempted to touch Dr. Perry, it lost consciousness, enabling Dr. Perry to retrieve Wagner. Wagner revived once outside 2164 and Stroke A regained consciousness 30 minutes later. Mark Wagner was demoted to level 0 personnel. Senior researcher Eric Stanton was issued a formal reprimand, and Dr. Perry was recognised for her quick thinking in preventing a containment breach. Fuck. Test 4. Procedure to test whether any sapient being could manipulate reality within 2164. Dr. Elizabeth Perry entered 2164 wearing 1 long purple tunic, 1 wreath of basil, 1 tapered standard breech of Ilex aquifolium, common holly, engraved with the astrological symbols for the 7 planets. Results. Stroke A produced a beam of glowing red light and aimed it at Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry chanted a Latin charm against evil and successfully deflected the beam with the Ilex aquifolium branch. The beam exited 2164 and vanished. Stroke A registered a shock at this development. Dr. Perry chastised Stroke A, referring to Foundation containment as limbo and punishment for misuse of its powers. Stroke A expressed remorse and has since fully adjusted to its containment. Tests involving 2164-B. Test 1. Procedure. Stroke B given 20 milliliters vial of thyroxine, 3 7-litre jugs of distilled water, and 1 litre water bottle with a screw-on cap. Result. Stroke B poured 1 litre of distilled water into the bottle and diluted 1 milliliter thyroxine in it before sealing the bottle and successing it 10 times against its open palm. After succession, it disposed of 990 milliliters water thyroxine solution and mixed 990 milliliters fresh water into the bottle before suffusing it again. Stroke B repeated the process until all jugs of distilled water were empty. When questioned about the number of dilutions, Stroke B tilted its head and replied that it hated weak-ass cures. It then administered 10 milliliters of diluted solution to D99746, suffering from an advanced Graves' disease with pronounced exophthalmos. D99746's eyes immediately retreated back to their normal position in their sockets. Subject no longer experienced tremors, and CT scans with the effective radiance showed the subject's thyroid had shrunk back to a healthy size. Effect reversed once subject left 2164. Testing of the solution both inside and outside the effect radius showed that no molecules of the original thyroxine remained in the solution. Number 2. Procedure. D3047 brought into effect radiance. Subject has no known medical conditions. Results. Subject immediately takes on a dulled effect. Stroke B images to engage subject in conversation. Subject demonstrates severe echolalia and begins to vigorously flap his hands. Like that. Symptoms reversed outside effect radius. Repeated tests with various D-class show how 55 occurrence of the phenomenon, with tests involving low-level Foundation personnel showing occurrences up to 85%. Upon reviewing medical records of test subjects, it was determined that about 60% of subjects who have received all recommended vaccines displayed the above symptoms. When asked, Stroke B rolled her eyes and stated, "Love them, protect them, never inject them," in an exasperated tone. Stroke B refused to elaborate further. Anti-vaxxer. Test 3. Procedure. D80044 was introduced to Stroke B. D80044 was born in 1994 and scored a 145 on the Stanford Binet IQ test and a plus 3.3 on the Foundation Expanded Intelligence test for non-anonymous humans. D08844 was 20 years old at the time of the experiment. Certainly the SCP, yeah. Extreme prejudice. Result. Data expunged. After killing 10 guards, 3 researchers, and critically injuring the site director, D80044 was ambushed by junior researcher Makawa, who managed to disengage the unconscious Stroke B from D800's D80044's back. As the two separated, D80044 reverted to his usual mental abilities and was summarily terminated. Stroke B was successfully revived and treated for minor injuries. Although Stroke V was physically unharmed, the incident caused it to sink in a state of depression afterwards. Stroke B made statements during the time such as, "How could this happen? His aura's so blue. The children were supposed to bring peace, and I thought I could help him achieve his true potential." Stroke B has since recovered, but refuses to interact with individuals matching the parameters and containment procedures. Incident log 2164-1. Stroke A and Stroke B were introduced to each other in a controlled testing scenario. The following is an audio transcript of the encounter. Stroke B. "Hey, what the fuck are you doing here?" Stroke A. "I am Uth to minstrident to nature, whose courage is beseek with thy lominches." Lominches, my ass. I can't believe these people haven't blasted you to smithereens. You're ruining everything, you know that? "I ac now, strumpet. I am a chosen brilliant and green egg of fantastical things. The reign of angels and daemons, of spirits and sprites is nigh. I am the Bodeman of the new Etherite, and I can serve it from frauds as thee." Frauds? I'm trying to save the world from your dark ritual bullshit. Didn't you guys cover you in leeches if you had a cough? Now we know if Monsanto kept the evil little fingers off our food, we wouldn't have coughs. This is the future, Methuselah. We're enlightened, higher beings now. No while let the age of Aquarius be stained with your blood sacrifice nonsense. This Monsanto necromancer I know not. How could he men of my day, a curse and a he of Niartepyh be? Well, it's not just them. Everyone knows you guys had way low vibrations because of all that witch burning and black plague. You got everything wrong about guardians angels too. Like with all your hellfire and brimstone shit. Us evolved people know angels are all about love and peace and self-acceptance and stuff. May Albertus Magnus and his fellowship bind to the haughtiness be. The angels of the baleful Lord are far more terrifying grimful than thine tame mild wights. Thy milk-minded pets resemble the menials of the Most High, as strands of electrum resemble lowly dung. That's it. Had it with all your psycho mumbo-jumbo. You're about to get your chakras all out of alignment. End log. Closing statement. Stroke A and Stroke B charged into each other's 2164 effect radiance. Stroke A was observed to raise his staff and shout a Latin incantation to Azrael, the Angel of Death, as Stroke B rolled his eyes upwards into their sockets, faced their palms towards Stroke A, and vocalized in a low Om. Observers of both the event itself and the video footage express extreme psychological distress after this point. Under extreme sedition, observers report simultaneously witnessing both Stroke A's curse hitting Stroke B directly in the sternum and killing her, and watching Stroke A suffer a massive aneurysm and collapse dead, with Stroke B victorious. Observers then report that both Stroke A and Stroke B appear blurry and out of focus, with 15 separate simultaneous sightings of Stroke A and Stroke B throughout the site reported during this time. Data expunged. After 3 hours, 2164 containment was re-established. Containment procedures updated accordingly. Stroke. You can stroke me anytime, lad. And as often as you like as well. What the bollocks was that? What the actual bollocks? Okay, now on to the next one. What the fuck? Item number SCP-2353. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 2353 has been contained in a standard humanoid containment chamber and doesn't require any nutrition plan. All personnel in 2353's presence are forbidden from wearing inappropriate garments, footwear, and accessories. The list of inappropriate clothing is fully detailed in document 2353, but includes the following: foam clogs, commonly known as Crocs, white clothing including laboratory coats between the first Monday of September and the first day of spring, any kind of flip-flop or sandal well worn with socks, denim shorts commonly known as jorts. Oh no, gifted subs are discounted. Oh no. Oh no. Additionally, 2353 is allowed access to a sewing machine and a rolling allowance of $35 as a month to purchase magazines, fabric, and other equipment. Access to the sewing machine and an allowance may be revoked as a disciplinary measure. Description: 2353 is a sapient animate mannequin of 1.6 meters in height and 2 kilograms in weight. It is composed of fiberglass with blue eyes, red lips, and light flesh tone painted on. It is capable of communicating in English, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, French, and Russian in a woman's voice. As 2353 is completely hollow, it is unknown how it is able to speak. 2353 reacts in a hostile and uncooperative manner when presented with humans wearing inappropriate clothing detailed in document 2353. When presented with such clothing or accessories, 2353 will often turn its back to the human and request for phone privileges in order to contact the United Nations. Christ. Excuse me. 2353 was found in a chain clothing department store attached to a mall. Video recordings of 2353 contain evidence of 2353 talking to itself while attempting to conceal or destroy articles of clothing it disapproved of. The Foundation was alerted on 10/10/15 when 2353 stepped out of its display window and ran into the mall. The following is a video transcript of the event and initial interview after successful containment. Okay, the transcript. Begin log. 2353 is seen in a display window through a surveillance camera. Its head moves to the right without visible manipulation. 2353 could be heard speaking. An unknown male entity can be heard talking to it, possibly one of the other mannequins. Investigation is ongoing. 2353 says, "Oh no, this is the last straw. I've been working at this Macy's for the past 5 years, and this is the last fucking straw." Unknown male voice, "Damn it, Stacy, calm down. They just gotta learn on their own. How many times I gotta tell you? It ain't worth our jobs. Stacy? Stacy, please. Don't you Stacy please me. I'm not tolerating this anymore. The guy's wearing at least 2 sizes too small. That muffin top's more like a mushroom cloud." 2353 steps out of the display case and begins running towards the woman, accompanied by a man carrying bags of clothing. 2353 tackles the man and begins to try and remove his pants. 2353, with all due respect, what is wrong with you? Wear some proper sizes. No one wants to see squished sausage. What the fuck? Man begins to struggle with 2353. 2353 successfully moves the man's pants. "Shut up. There's a perfectly good jeans sale going on at the Levi's like 3 stores down to your right. Buy ones and get 75% off. Get those poor people to give you a proper resizing for once in your life. Your balls will thank you for it." Woman, is this some sick fucking PR stunt? I didn't consent to this. The woman physically assaults 2353 with her purse. 2353 picks up one of the bags of clothing and physically assaults the woman with it. "What the fuck is wrong with you, miss? I saw you in the Crocs store last week. There wasn't even a sale going on. You have like no excuse. Even that kind poor fella cashiering the damn place was giving you a side eye." 2353 and the woman continue to argue. Plainclothes guards arrive to separate the two. The Foundation is alerted. A guard has difficulty handcuffing 2353 due to its lack of adequate range of arm movement. 2353 successfully escapes the grasp of the guard and flees downstairs. The guards pursue. 2353 stops to assault a woman's feet. "Are you blind? What the hell kind of frumpy sandals are these? Zebra print? There's a shoe store literally behind you." "Actually, I'm a lega." "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, miss. I've got an employee card and plenty of money I never use. Come on, let's get you on a shopping spree during the one-day sale. Just because you can't see doesn't mean you can't look fierce." A plainclothes guard's force maneuver as 2353 to the floor. 2353 is taken to a holding cell for further containment by the Foundation. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Why the fuck have I got a Discord notification? Civic chat, it's fine. And now the interview log. Not I. For once, 'twas not the lid sneaking into my DMs. Date, October 10, 2015. Interviewee, SCP-2353. Inspector, Dr. Kumalo. The interview was conducted 2 hours after the Foundation's acquisition of 2353. "Hello, SCP-2353. I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind." "Oh my god, ew, ew!" 2353 turns away from Dr. Kumalo. "I'm sorry, is something the matter? Can I do something for you?" "Yeah, sure, I need to call the UN to report a violation of the Geneva Conventions. Right after Labour Day. My god, not even secret organisations are safe." 2353 refuses to communicate for the remainder of the interview. End log. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? I don't even know. What the actual donkey fuck? Fucking Christ. I honestly didn't... Like, seeing that we had 11 SCPs to go through, I did not think we'd be finishing with doing all of them, much less currently under 2 hours. Jesus. Item number SCP-2491, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures 2491 is to be contained within an outdoor enclosure with 20 kilometers between the structure and the edge of the containment enclosure. In the north direction, the boundaries are to be no more than 5 kilometers apart. The enclosure area is to be designated a no-fly zone. CCTV cameras are installed along the fence line in all directions at 30-meter intervals. Additional CCTV cameras have been placed directly inside or around the structure for observation purposes. Observation should be maintained at all times. Civilians attempting to enter or successfully entering the containment enclosure are to be apprehended and administered Class A amnestics as required. 2491 sounds familiar. I know I haven't read that. Out of all of the ones suggested, one of them was one I've read before. So it's been skipped. 2491-1 instances attempting to scale the containment fence are to be redirected through the use of amplified auditory and olfactory stimuli belonging to predators of the European honeybee. Research personnel entering 2491 for direct observation and exploration purposes are to observe standard biological safety procedures and don typical bee protection gear. I'm waiting for an SCP about a wind-up musical box which includes a simple projection screen and a range of organ-like miniature pipes, also decorated with an inlaid pattern on its wooden construction featuring 6 mice. Might exist? You never know. There's literally tens of thousands of these. Oh, no, not tens of thousands. There's thousands. There's under 10,000. 2491-1 instances are attempting to... Oh, I've already got them. Description. 2491 is a large geological structure closely resembling hives of the European honeybee, located 60 kilometers south of Edinburgh, Scotland. The structure is approximately 200 meters in diameter and has a single large 5-meter opening in the southern face. The interior of 2491 resembles the standard hive structure of the European honeybee, including topographical vertical honeycomb layers with the presence of multiple caverns, 7 of which contain furniture and decorations commonly present in Western social establishments. 2491 is populated by a number of anomalous entities that take on appearances and demeanour of the various film and book iterations of the fictional British spy James Bond. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hereby dubbed 2491-1. 2491-1 instances are notable in that they wear formal attire and are able to perform a number of seemingly impossible biological feats which parallel normal biological functions of the European honeybee. 2491-1 instances are organised into functional roles based on appearance. These functional roles appear to parallel the castes of a standard European honeybee colony, and are described below. 2491 has one 2491-1 instance which presides over all other iterations, paralleling the queen in a normal bee colony. This ruling caste has the following attributes. Appearance resembles that of actor Sean Connery in the 1962 Bond film Dr. No. God, that dickhead. Smokes what are believed to be Cuban cigars, lays 300 eggs, each 50 centimeters in diameter, every 24 hours, secretes a large number of pheromones which appear to dictate the behaviour of all other 2491-1 instances. Lily, thank you very much for the gifted sub. Very much appreciate that, and congratulations on Mr. Titan 40k on receiving it. Just one for now. That for now bit scares me. But thank you very much, Lily. It's exceptionally generous of you. That is now up at 94 up there. The fuck? Outside of this ruling caste, 2491-1 instances can be broken down into drones, workers, and larvae. The drone caste performs analogous functions to the drones of a normal bee colony, usually expiring shortly after fertilizing the queen. Composition of this caste is described below, composed of multiple iterations of Bond's creator, Ian Fleming. Acts and behaves similar to that of the written characterizations of Bond characters, engages with the ruling caste in a series of seductive attempts to ritualistically procreate, often using phrases such as "I have tasted your mind and cannot forget its flavour," alongside various impressive physical feats to court the queen, expires shortly after fertilizing the queen. But no one. Cause of death in all recovered instances has been due to severing of the spinal cord at the neck. Pop. Didn't see that number, OCD sop. So here's the thing, Lily. What's worse? The fact that you've gifted a total of 6 subs, or that is a non-zero or non-multiple of 5 number, or the fact that you won't be able to meet a multiple of 5 number and get that to multiple of 5 at the same time. Which one of those is worse? That's another message. The majority of 2491-1 instances are members of the Workers caste. Workers count a number of roles and are split into 3 subdivisions based on unknown predetermined characteristics. These 3 subdivisions are described below. Maintenance and transport workers, composed of iterations resembling actors Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton, are responsible for maintenance of the hive structure, often wielding overly complex construction tools, generate copious amounts of wax from their bodies, transport nectar and royal jelly through the hive. Notably, 2491-1 instances appear to mention royal jelly as Her Majesty O'Connery's Fantastic Jelly. That is a phrase I never thought I'd ever hear, and I do not wish to ever hear again. You know what I'm going to do? I need a palette cleanser. I need an extreme palette cleanser. I'm going to have a hate sponge. I'm voluntarily giving myself a hate sponge. Look, it's gushers. Is that the last one? Yes, that's all the gushers. That's the last box of gushers. Now I'm going back to using a D6 and 2 results being for each one. A phrase to haunt my nightmares. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right, you are going to join me in this hell. SpongeBob, me boy, I ran out of the lube. Get Her Majesty O'Connery's Fantastic Jelly. A voluntary Twinkie. Not Twinkies, but a hate sponge. I've got gushers. But yeah, like, I found I can't have Twinkies. I can't have Twinkies anymore. Oh, it's an all red one as well. All red. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ah. That was better than that phrase. I despise you immensely. Yes. Several instances will regularly take control, collecting nectar, and synthesize large amounts of alcoholic beverages, especially martinis. Footnote of agitated with a tool, not gravitate. Instances remove flowers from foragers directly and will proceed to chew, swallow, and regurgitate the items until it takes on a mint coloration, at which point they will regurgitate it into a nearby honeycomb. Mortuarian nurses. Iterations resemble actor George Lazenby, engaging in nursing behaviour with larval bond iterations, providing sustenance through self-secreted jelly and martinis. Engage in mortuary behaviour, moving expired bond iterations 2 kilometers from the structure. During burial and mourning procedures, 2491-1 instances will bow their heads briefly, at intervals of no more than 3 seconds. Following this motion, instances will procure bottles of liquor, alternating between drinking the substance and pouring it onto the site of the burial, while uttering witticisms about the nature of the instance's death. Foraging/scouts. 2491-1 iterations closely resemble actor Pierce Brosnan's portrayal of Bond in the 2002 film Die Another Day. Engage in collection of pollen, nectar, and large amounts of flowering plants by bending at the waist and pressing their faces into the interior of brightly coloured species of flower. Following this gesture, instances observed to gently remove the flowering part of the plant and place it within a concealed cavity on their abdomen. Forays of this kind are noted to occur within a 10-kilometer radius of the structure, with the exception of the northern direction, where instances have been observed to venture no more than 5 kilometers away. Although observation has shown that instances prefer to forage in the south and western directions, older instances tend to avoid forays north, possibly due to human population centres. During scouting/foraging efforts, instances will move through the forest in a non-linear manner, taking diagonal routes between open walking spaces. Observation has shown that instances will in fact roll from tree to tree, pressing their backs against a tree following each roll. Following successful foraging effort, instances will engage in a series of ritualistic dances emulating several complex ballroom-style techniques, often incorporating elements of waltz, mambo, salsa, merengue, and occasionally West Coast swing. These dances are usually performed with another member of the foraging/scouting subrole and can last up to 3 hours. The larval cast is composed of young and freshly hatched Bond iterations, where all 2491-1 appears miniature versions of actor Daniel Craig's portrayal of the character in the film Casino Royale. As larva matures into fully grown Bond iterations, they take on the appearance and mannerisms of their specific cast. Larvae marked to become members of the ruling class are fed Her Majesty O'Connery's Schwanzested jelly by their attending nurse Bonds, at which time they begin to take on the appearance of Sean Connery. Attempts to establish communication with 2491-1 instances have been met with aggressive action, resulting in the deaths of field personnel. Cause of death noted to have been due to severe anaphylactic shock, and in some instances blood loss due to impalement and injuries. Observation log 02491-01. The following section is composed of a synopsis of remote CCTV observations from SCP-2491. Date and time of observation: June the 5th, 2013, 13:43:00 to 13:59:00. Summary: a recently installed CCTV camera within the structure's Royal Honeycomb section records a complete fertilization ritual involving a single drone and the ruling caste individual at the time. Excuse me. Video log transcriptions have been edited to remove extraneous conversation. Excuse me. A single drone instance enters the chamber from the northwest face. From a hole 30 meters above the floor, the instance is noted to be wearing a pair of tight checkered pants and no shirt or shoes. The drone begins climbing down the honeycomb slowly. The drone's back is noted to display several large, bony, skin-covered protrusions atypical of the human anatomy. Procure requests for live subjects awaiting approval. The drone climbs from a hole to approximately 3 meters above the floor of the chamber, at which time the instance looks over its shoulder before pushing off of the wall, flipping mid-air and landing upright, one arm stretched behind itself and the other extended forwards, offering what is noted to be a single red carnation. The ruling instances at the time is noted to have shown no perceivable reactions to this display. Following the drone's landing, approximately 10 seconds of silence pass before the ruling instance rises. Yeah, I fully agree, Lydia. Drone. Bond. James Bond. At your service. Bond names the James. Conan Blaniku. Bond's having a strong. That's my little addition, because I cannot think about James Bond without that sentence now. The drone maintains position as the ruling instance claps slowly 3 times. Congratulations, Mr. Bond. Your physical prowess precedes you. The ruling instance stops at the base of the honeycomb steps, pausing for a moment before continuing its speech. Tell me, why should you be the one to foster the next brood? The drone maintains its stance. Red carnation is still pressed forward. I'm giving you the opportunity to make the hive as brilliant as myself. The ruling instance is observed to smirk a moment. I am giving you a chance to shake and not stir. Funny, I don't see any bubbles. The ruling instance lasts for 10 seconds. Wit and physical prowess. Impressive, Mr. Bond. Very impressive. Tell me, Your Majesty, do you like wild things? Wild. You should be locked up in a honeycomb with me. The drone is observed to abandon its previous stance as the ruling instance makes several hand gestures. The drone approaches the ruling instance and hands it the carnation, bowing its head briefly. The ruling instance presses its nose to the flower and visibly inhales. Ah, carnations, my favourite. I have a particular knack for finding red flowers. Perhaps I shall call you Iron. The drone and ruling instance are observed to begin what is now believed to be the fertilization ritual, beginning when the ruling instance opens 3 data expunged. The ruling instance is observed standing over the drone after the fertilization rescue has finished. The drone's body is positioned in a manner such that the observation of the head and neck regions are impossible, with the ruling instance blocking them from view. The ruling instance's abdomen is noted to be swollen, especially in and around typical locations of the gastrointestinal tract. Such a shame, he didn't even finish his martini. The Queen is observed to take 5 steps away from the drone in the direction of the throne chamber before stopping mid-stride and rotating its head 180 degrees, dry green fluid dripping through its mouth. The drone's body is observed to have been severed at the neck. Seems he lost his head in the pursuit of love. What the fuck did I just read? What the fuck was that? I don't know. I do not know what the fuck I just witnessed. Brain, no. Brain is uncontrollable now. I'm just very glad that my brain did not think until just now to have done all of the Queen's lines in my really, really awful Sean Connery impression. That could have been worse. Brain summoned horrifying words. Bondcest. Oh my god. You know what? That is so cursed. That is so unbelievably cursed. That's going to be the stream title. Bondcest. Wishabond. Oh my god. We're going to use both. Wishabond, Bondcest. I do not know what the actual fuck I just managed to read and vocalize. That's one hell of a note to end things on. One hell of a note. Oh look, we ran out of SCPs. Fina, hello and welcome. And congratulations on redeeming not first. I see you too are a sex combatant. Combatant. Sounds too much like I'm saying competent rather than combatant. Gabriel's sleeping next to me. What the fuck have I just... Sex combatant, yes. Do we sword fight? Well, there's usually at least one sword involved, yeah. Who gets impaled first? I'm sure I can convince you to be impaled by me, Davina. You made me read that with my own eyes, Lydia. Dick jousting. What the actual fuck? It's Clavin, Balls Gate 3, he's the one being impaled. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right, that is where I'm going to be ending things for today. Thank you all very much for coming along, for your support. It's all greatly appreciated in whatever way you've chosen to show it. Next stream for me is going to be tonight at 8 PM EST, which is 1 AM BST, where I'll be going back to Wasteland 3 as part of RPG Tuesday. And we are in the Steel Town DLC. Getting that to quote Tora. Also, a advance note that the next SCP stream that we do will be going back to the old format, since the new format wasn't all that successful or popular. So yeah, it will go back to the point of having the points redeemed done for submitting them on the day. Let's see. Special shout outs go out to Tora for the 100 bits. Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. To Gerbo for the 100 bits as well. Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. And to Lily for the gifted sub. Very much appreciated there. Thank you. Incredibly generous. And congratulations on Mr. Titan 40k on receiving it. The video goes for a random quote again. So Sherlock was sword fighting with his imaginary friend and found some pork in a bush. Sometimes the quote machine is spot on. Sometimes it's absolutely spot on, and that could not have been better timed. Oh goodness, yeah. I've suddenly got... But yeah. So again, till next time though, thank you very much for coming along. And have yourselves a good rest of your evening, a good day, a good night, a good morning, or a good afternoon. Well, the time is for you. Until then, though, stay safe, stay amazing, see you later. And don't go drinking Her Majesty O'Connery's fantastic jelly. Bye.